Step 3, writing your essay. With our pre-writing done and our document prepared, we can now begin drafting our essay. Because we have an early thesis statement and we have our main points, the next step is to write our body paragraphs. The easiest way to write a paragraph is to use the PI method. And PI stands for point, information, and explanation. And you can break down each of your body paragraphs into these three parts. So let's take a look at our first point. I've got it broken down here into that PI points. So the first point is that Westernization was good for Russian women. And then for information, I give details about just how it was good for them. This is also where I put my quotes. And then for explanation, this is where I tie these two pieces of information together and then tie it back into my thesis statement. So I'm proving my thesis statement with these paragraphs. And once we have these three parts of the paragraph written out, it's usually just a matter of moving the sentences around so that it looks like an actual paragraph. So I have that here. So this is my paragraph. All I did was take the P and the I and the E out. So you can see that it's more like a paragraph. Next, we want to be sure that we cite our sources. So at the end of each quote, you're to list the author and the page number. But for this quote, I've used a website. So I've put in parentheses the website. And I put the period at the end and made sure that it was after the quotation mark. So you'll want to type up 2 more paragraphs just like this one. But now it's time to reanalyze our early thesis statement because we want to make sure that it still matches what we're talking about with all of our paragraphs. So let's suppose that you couldn't find information to support one of your claims, or that you changed your mind about one of them while you were writing. You would want to adjust your thesis statement accordingly, because the next step is going to be writing an introduction, and you'll want to end that introductory paragraph with your thesis statement. Writing an introduction can be a little bit tricky. The best way to do it is to introduce your reader to your topic as a whole, and then funnel it down to your take on the subject. So here's a very terrible example I wrote, but you get the picture. I start by talking about Peter the Great as a child, his influences, him coming to power, and westernizing, and then my take on whether it was a good thing or bad thing. So once our introductory paragraph is written, we can then write our conclusion. It's not a place to introduce any new information. You're basically recapping everything you've said in your essay, and you're tying it back into your thesis statement so that you remind your reader once again that you've answered the question. So that's it for step 3, writing your essay. We will next talk about editing and proofreading, so stick around for that.